Welcome to Electrical U, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install these 15 amp LED nightlight wall outlets. Now these are pretty cool, folks. These have a little touch sensor right there. Now what that does, that allows you to actually turn these off or on. It's also the built-in light sensor, which will automatically turn it on when it's dark enough. Now, if it's too bright and it's bothering you, you want a little bit of pure blackout action, you can just go ahead and tap on the touch sensor and it will actually shut off the LED nightlight. With that being said, let's move on to step one. Of course, the first step to switching out this outlet to our brand new LED outlet is going to be to remove power from the circuit. Now, if you don't know which circuit breaker is going to go to a specific outlet that you want to change, the easiest way is to pick up one of these Klein Tools ET310. I'll throw a link down in the description below, as well as anything else we use in this video, so you can pick those up for yourself. So the first step is to plug the transmitter end into the outlet that you're going to change, and then we'll head on out to the circuit breaker and find that breaker. Okay, we've made it out to the circuit breaker panel. What you're going to want to do at the receiver end is just slowly, I think we found it already. And you see how it turns red there and it's beeping a lot. That means we have found our breaker. So we'll go ahead and shut that off. Now that we've removed power to our circuit, you can see that the lights have gone off on our transmitter side. So we are safe to say we have removed power from the circuit. We'll go ahead and unplug that. The next step, of course, is to remove our wall plate. Now we have exposed our outlet receptacle. Go ahead and remove that from the wall. We'll go ahead and pull our outlet away from the workbox. Now, as you can see, this is probably an original outlet installed by the builder. A lot of times for speed and efficiency, they'll go ahead and backstab these outlets. I prefer to go ahead and use the terminals on the sides, so I'll show you how to do that here today. Sorry for the brief interruption, folks, but if you haven't already done so, please hit that bell icon right there. It allows you to subscribe to the channel, which not only allows YouTube to notify you when new videos have released, but it also does something to the algorithm, which lets it push our videos out to many, many more people. That allows us to help as many folks as possible in their at-home do-it-yourself electrical needs. Thanks again, folks. Now back to the video. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. Your outlet should have little slots right next to the backstab wires. If you want to reuse the copper that they've backstabbed, you can push in the little lever in there and it will release these wires out of the back. That's one option. If you've got long enough wires, you're only going to be cutting approximately 1/4 inch off the end length. So you're pretty safe to just go ahead and snip off the wires off of here just to save time and also not to reuse the bent copper that's already installed. So I'll go ahead and snip mine off as close to the backstabs as you can. That way you're not shortening the wire length too much. Now you're also going to have your copper ground wire. It should be on the green screw terminal just like that. We'll go ahead and unscrew that. We're going to completely reuse that as it's already formed a good hook for us. Now that we've got our existing wiring removed from the old outlet, we're going to need to go ahead and strip some new bare copper wire on our 2 neutrals and our 2 hot wires. Again, you may only have one coming in on each side, just depends on where your outlet is in the circuit. So using our Klein Tools auto strippers, and again, I'll throw all the links to all the tools and accessories that we do use in this video. We're going to go ahead and strip each of our 4 wires here for our new outlet. Now that we've got our 4 power wires stripped there, we'll go ahead and bend our J-hooks here. You just want to make a little bend big enough to go around the terminal screw, but not too long where it's going to stick out and cause some arcing between the 2 sides. So just repeat that with all 4. Okay, now that we've formed our 4 hooks and we also still have our copper ground hook there, we'll go ahead and install the new outlet. Okay, as you can see, I've grabbed our new LED nightlight outlet. These are also, of course, to standard tamper-proofed here in the States. Again, I'll throw the link to these in the description so you can pick them up for yourself. They're fairly inexpensive and they come in 4 packs or greater. Okay, first thing with all outlets, you're going to have some brass-looking screws and you're going to have some white screws. Now the white screws are always going to be your neutral side, which are your white wires, and your black hot wires are always going to go to your brass screws. Easy peasy. Also, of course, you have your green ground screw, so we'll hook that up as well. When installing your hooks, you'll want to make sure that your hook is installed in a clockwise rotation. That ensures that while you're tightening your terminal screw, that it actually tightens your hook and doesn't pull it loose. Okay, now we've got the black side installed. We'll flip it over and install our white neutrals. Same exact way as the hot side, clockwise rotation on the hook. Now you want these pretty snug, that way the wires do not come loose while it's inside your wall. And lastly, we'll go ahead and hook up our green ground screw. Okay, we've got our 2 black hot wires, our 2 white neutrals, and of course our green ground installed. What I like to do is just give it a once over, make sure nothing is touching each other from terminal to terminal, nothing is sticking out so far where it might come in contact with your ground wire once you push it back into the box. This could cause arcing. Okay, everything looks good. Now, rule of thumb is usually to have your ground on the bottom. Now these are pretty obvious because the LED comes out here and it has your touch screen right there, which is pretty obvious which side goes up. Now, what I like to do is actually run a piece of electrical tape all the way around my terminals. This just ensures that nothing's going to come into contact. These are plastic work boxes. If it were metal, it would be a lot more relevant to tape your outlet. I'm just a fan of taping them. Let me know in those comments if you're a fan of taping your outlets. Why or why not? So taping the outlet is pretty straightforward. You're just going to grab your electrical tape. I like to start on the bottom. Just gently wrap the tape around the edge, and all you're doing is covering up those terminals just for extra protection. Again, this is completely optional and not everyone prefers to do it this way. So no need to go around 50 times or anything like that. Just wrap it around and call it good. Also, use some scissors and cut your tape. That way you're not pulling and stretching it, and that way your electrical tape does not come off. So when I'm all done, as you can see, it's taped all the way around. Just a little bit of extra protection. Okay, now it's time to push the outlet back in the box. You want to gently grab the wiring, and you're gonna wanna fold it almost like an accordion. That way it's not pulling and ripping any wires out that you just installed. We'll push the outlet back into the workbox, and you wanna have it flush right there. If yours is not flush, there is options to install shims, but it should be pretty flush. Okay, now it's time to screw the outlet back into the workbox here. So just reverse order, snug those up. Okay, now you want it snug, but you don't want to bend those tabs too much. That way it's not pushed into the wall and it will lay flush when you put the cover on. And it should just fit centered there into the wall plate and not stick out or be bent in either direction. Okay, we'll go ahead and screw on the wall plate. So of course, the next step is to flip that power back on. And as you can see, I've got my 2 green lights and no red light, which means it has been wired in correctly. We'll check both sockets just to be certain. And yes, folks, there it is. We've got our 2 greens, no red, so we are wired in correctly. Last thing to do is check out the LED function. Okay, folks, trying to make it dark enough for it to come on automatically, which is pretty impossible here in the daylight, but I can show you with the touch panel. I can make it go off and on. So there you have it. It does work. It's really bright. Again, it's really hard to make happen here in the daytime, but as you can see by hitting the touch panel that it is going off and on. So that's really neat. It saves space and money. You don't need to buy LEDs to plug in anymore, and you've got both of your outlets free to plug in any device you want. Hey, thanks for watching, folks. And if you found value in today's video, please subscribe to our channel right here and watch our next video here.